During social isolation, most people have used their newfound free time to catch up on movies or TV shows they missed. I found myself watching Netflix stand-up comedy specials. That's how I found and took interest in stand-up comedy with Pierre Bro.
If a father and a son are watching the show, the son cannot turn to the father and say, what does he mean by that? Which is a strange restriction.
Pierre Bro, actor, playwright, and comedian, has been hosting stand-up classes for 3 years and has been a stand-up comedian himself since 1982.
This is my first live stand-up comedy set ever. Woo! And I can't believe how well that's going. Great. You know, it really comes down to what everyone says. It's all about perfect. Timing.
Why did you start the classes?
So when I started in stand-up comedy, it was a very difficult life. On amateur night, I would go and try my stuff out. I was 18 years old, and I realized I didn't really know that much about what I was even saying up there. So I only did it for a few months. You know, I'm coming from the world of the theater, which is all huggy and warm, pat you on the back, you're doing a great job, to stand-up comedy, which is, who the fuck are you? Go up and prove it. So, so that kind of difference interested me a great deal. So when I decided I was going to teach stand-up comedy with the acting company, I really made an effort to have a much more inclusive, a warmer atmosphere than I had in my initial experiences in Toronto.
Very good. Thank you very much. Yeah!
Then, COVID arrived and brought the entire performing arts industry, including Pierre's classes, to a screeching halt. When the initial lockdown hit because of COVID, what happened during and after?
We were in mid-class and we'd already scheduled a performance class, but of course everything shut down. So we could not continue the class in class. So we switched online and did our best on that. After that one had finished, that class had finished, we decided to pause for safety's sake, like everyone else. Then as restrictions started to ease up and we were able to go into the club, that's when we hit the reset button and said, let's go.
Who would have thought the big seller for 2020 would be Tickle Me Throat virus? Is that tickle in my throat the virus? Maybe!
Those that have seen the club, I mean, it holds like 200 people, and we're having 7. So there's plenty of room to sit around the back walls, and we do sort of come up to use the stage, but we follow the same protocols that the club follows. So the mics are sanitized between sets. You know, they need to wear their masks till they get on stage. So, you know, we are following the protocols that are in place now, because this is what comedy is going to be like.
Why is it important to hold the classes in person rather than, what would be safer and even a little bit easier online over Zoom or a video conference?
The reason that we try to do these classes in person is very simple. If you're in your room, it's not the same as being in a comedy club. But when you're in a club, and you're standing on the stage and there's the microphone and there's the spotlights, it becomes more real for you.
And did you know that there is no agreed upon origin of where circumcision comes from? But they have 5 best guesses. First, it's a religious ritual intended to reduce sexual pleasure. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Many people, hundreds of comics over the years, get up on stage for the first time. And one of the first things they say is, I didn't know the lights were going to be this bright. So I give them an opportunity to see those lights, to hear the sound, to imagine the audience, because there is a physicality, a physical technique that's required as well.
Bro explained to me that people of all ages and backgrounds have taken his classes over the years. To gain an insight into the student perspective, I spoke to one of Bro's pupils, Dan Taylor, who came back to class after previously having had COVID himself.
announced to everybody on the park bench that I am COVID positive and I'm just waiting for my ride, I had a whole gang of people just to pop away from me like, holy shit!
So, what attracted you to sign up for and partake in the classes?
It's fantastic to have a professional like Pierre be able to help you along and to be able to perform, kind of workshop. I think it's a fantastic opportunity. I would have liked to have gotten to know my classmates better, you know, and you know what I'm talking about is that kind of that huddle after class where everyone's kind of, you know, and then saying, hell, why don't we continue this over coffee? And I'm sure you've done, you know, and so, yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. So that side of it, yeah, it's too bad. It's unfortunate.
With COVID cases on the rise and the potential for more restrictions in Ottawa, I asked Bro what he plans for the future.
I don't think you can be ever fully prepared for what's coming around the corner with COVID. We simply don't know. What I am trying to do is to work as quickly as possible between those little, just like restaurant and store owners, trying to work within those time periods when we are opened up again and then going online. So we may have to switch to a hybrid where the classes are half online and then of course performances live. But I do know that stand-up will be one of the first things that come back. As I said, I work in the theater, and the demographic is very different. In the theater, the median age is about 65 to 75 years old. So they're not coming back tomorrow. But in stand-up, the median age is about 25 years old. These are people who are much more social and healthy and want to get out there.
Now I think back on it and I'm like, what was I hoping she was going to say? Like she was looking at the bag and she's like, oh, well, I can see he eats at Subway. That's a chicken teriyaki sandwich that's more expensive than the meatball one, so clearly he's rich. Yeah, maybe I should go out with this guy.
There is no real need for stand-up comedy classes because you can always just go and do it yourself. You can sign up on any of the clubs, they have new talent night, and you can sign up and do it. However, that's very, very intimidating for a lot of people.
Blackberry notes and a crack of black.
Even today, during COVID, who doesn't need to laugh? Who doesn't need to make jokes? Who doesn't need to sort of look at the lighter side of this? I think it's important that humor is not just a connection, but it's also a healing force. You've heard the old adage, laughter is the best medicine. Okay, no problem. I kind of agree with that to a certain point. When you're laughing, truly laughing, then you're not seeing the ugliness of the world. Or maybe you are, but you're laughing ironically at it.
And what was weird is her mother really likes it, just a little bit. So I told myself, I'm an adult, so I'll...
Laughter is a sign of intelligence as far as I'm concerned. And so the more that we can laugh, the more that I can connect with people who want to learn to laugh, well, that just sustains me.